I tweeted out asking for your guys' hot takes on melee stuff once again. There's a lot of responses. There's no way we got through all of them. There's a good chance I miss yours. I'm sorry if I do, but let's get into it. Legend says Game & Watch is basically Yoshi level with no ARMS level player to rep him. If someone crazy good at the game grinded the shit out of the character, he could top 8 all the time. And a lot of people seem to think that Game & Watch is really good, and I'm gonna be honest with you, chat, I have no idea why. And that is not me saying that I think Game & Watch is bad, but why do people have so much faith in him as a character? I don't understand. Game & Watch's shield sucks. His recovery's not the best. He dies off the top a lot really easily. I don't think Yoshi's a good character, but Yoshi has parry and double jump armor and just a lot of better tools. So I'm just curious why people think Game & Watch is so good, but it seems like a very common opinion. But I feel like people have also been having this opinion for years. I've been seeing this opinion since like 2015 of people saying that Game & Watch is super good. I guess there's not many Game & Watches right now to really try to make it happen, but he's not like a great character. He has stuff. He could probably zero to death space pretty well. Ambi Sinister. The average melee player does not know what dash dancing is used for. Okay, I think the average player does know why it's used, but do I think that they use it for that purpose? Probably not. Even I don't. Sometimes I'm just dash dancing. I'm like, well, I'm just doing this because everybody else is. Yeah, I think people know the reasoning, but they don't know how to apply it. It's like, yeah, it's like to bait options. It's to keep your options open while baiting options. It's like just a bunch of stuff. But I think people understand like the basic concept, the general overarching concept. But yeah, I think people aren't the best at actually using it. Phoenix SSBM. The dog is easy. The ninja is easy. The driver is easy. The sword guy is easy. The balloon is easy. The bird is easy. I'm inclined to agree. They didn't mention Peach. I'm gonna say, look, Peach is also easy. The princess is easy. Okay, Edwin Budding, the homie. In 2 years, Falco will be considered Marth's hardest matchup of the whole cast, if not by the end of the year. Marth's hardest matchups are like what? It's like Sheik and Falcon probably. Like, I think Falco has pretty good tools to deal with Marth's stuff, but the fact that Marth grabs Falco and he dies a lot of the time, like you can really just have your way with Falco. I don't know if I could see it being like the hardest. It honestly, I think it could just be the Ditto. Honestly, I've always been a Marth, like I think Marth is super good. I think Falco can do pretty good against Marth, pretty decent, but I feel like the hardest is a bit of a stretch. The box would be banned if a good Peach committed to it, or Dark Hero and attorneys. Okay, I've heard the legends of Dark Hero and like the box like Marth SDI, and obviously we've seen like SDI stuff with like Swift or whatever. There's always, you know, that one summit everybody would not stop talking about SDI stuff. Why do people think Peach is busted on box? What's the reasoning? Is it just like hyperfloat stuff? I could see drift being a little bit, yeah, I could see that. It's probably what, like drift, like SDI on some stuff. Like float heights, it would be really easy to just get like really low floats. No, I've heard the stories. I've heard the stories of that. Not forward or back throwing off stage as Fox is lame. Kill the opponent when you can kill the opponent. I think honestly there's times to do up throw and stuff. Okay, I don't think back throwing and forward throwing off stage is necessarily lame. Like there's times, like sometimes you up throw and you can double shine, and that's a better spot to put them in than a back throw. Sometimes you can up throw and just get like an up smash and a big punish off of it. I agree to a degree. Like I get frustrated sometimes playing people who only play to like combo and shit, just because I'm like, man, I should be dead by now. Like yeah, there's sometimes better stuff you could do than forward throw, back throw, which I imagine Zamu would agree with, But yeah, sometimes even just up throw, up smashing, seeing if you get DI. I imagine there's just some asterisks in the situations, but I think sometimes up throwing's fine because you can up throw, up smash, get them off stage. That's a better spot than if you were to forward throw plus more %. And if they DI'd in, you get a combo. I think there's a lot of good times to do throws that aren't forward throw and back throw, personally. Having more variety in major winners is cooler than someone dominating Omega hard for the entire year. I think that's true for the most part, but I think when there's a person dominating, people act like it's more boring than it is. Let's say if Zayn just won the next 4 tournaments, doesn't drop a set, that's messed up. But then imagine the moment when Zayn goes like game 5 with, imagine Zayn just won like 5 tournaments in a row we're at SmashCon or something, wherever that would be next, where he just won everything beforehand, and he goes game 5 with Salt. Then that is so crazy. And when that happens, that's like, that kind of stuff is cool. And I also think it's really cool when someone dominates a lot, because it shows that the people who put in a lot of effort are getting rewarded. Because sometimes, like, you guys know in Smash 4 and Ultimate, a lot of the critique is that people can lose to everybody and that there's a lot of randomness. And I feel like if we have people at the top who are consistently doing good, then it makes people respect that aspect of it a lot more, that it can be consistent and people who are really good can just stay at the top, which I think is valuable. But I agree. I think like having a few people who can cycle around winning is cool. If it were to get to the point where like 25 people could win a major, then I think it's cool in theory, but sometimes it would get just a lot, because it would be like, damn, like anyone can just whoop on everybody. But I think for the most part I agree with this. Nobody plays Melee anymore. They're too obsessed with mods, controllers, and all the cool culture is gone. Now everyone wants to be a weird clout chaser. I mean, I think that people talk a lot about mods and controllers and that stuff. In Melee, people talk a lot about a lot of things. It's just right now what people are talking about are mods and controllers and whatever. That's kind of like the hotness at the moment in the scene, because people would always talk about wobbling, and then you could say they're too obsessed with like that aspect. I just think right now mods and controllers and stuff is like the hot topic. But I will say, when I see stuff like people are like, oh, we need to freeze FOD because the platforms are annoying, I agree in that aspect, that sometimes people don't want to take responsibility for their losses. And it's like, I think I agree to an extent with that, but I think like, I don't know, I think there's still cool Melee culture. I just think we've all been locked inside of our house for years, and we're finally coming out of our house to go to tournaments because COVID is like, I guess stuff has opened up a little bit again. I think just people, I don't know, people have been bored. I think the culture is still there. We've just been lacking it and haven't experienced it. Everyone who's gone to LAN stuff, it's a blast. I don't know. Sora says Sheik beats Fox, and I'm pretty sure Sora responded to this tweet. He was just at a tournament in Seattle, and I think he just lost to Spark. So I'm inclined to believe that there might be a little bit more behind this, but you know, I don't disagree, Josh, man. No, honestly, I think, dude, Sheik. Okay, in case this is a real take, I do not agree. I think Sheik is like the one matchup that shows how stupid Fox is. It's Sheik and Puff, I always say. I think Sheik and Puff are the two matchups. Stupid. Absolutely stupid for Fox. Those are the two matchups where even if the Fox doesn't know what he's doing, you can get away with it and just beat Sheiks who are better than you, or Puffs who are better than you. You can really just make your way just by being Fox. What if the Sheik is on meth and hits every tech chase? I mean, then like, yeah, like, I guess that is like good, but that's like a hypothetical, because we haven't seen that yet. And I don't think that's possible to hit like every tech chase. And the thing is the Sheik has to hit tech chases. I watched this actually with Spark versus Fat Goku, I'm pretty sure, at that same tournament, because I was watching that set, and Spark was tech chasing Fat Goku for like 20 seconds straight. Brought him all the way from like 50% to like 85, which is what? That's like a 35% increase. It really wasn't much. Then he missed the last grab. Fat Goku wave shine up smashed, and then I think up smashed his coming down and did more percent in 3 seconds than Spark did in like 20. And it was like, well, that is just fucked up, because it was just so much more demanding for Sheik to get that tiny bit of percent, and then Fox just comes in and hits a couple moves, and it's like Sheik obviously has some tools. Sheik has really fast tilts, really fast aerials, really fast walling stuff, and if you're hitting your tech chases, it's not bad, it's good. But Fox can get away even if Fox doesn't really know what he's doing sometimes in the matchup, because I don't think I know what I do against Sheik, but I've beaten really good Sheiks. I just think it's because I play Fox, if I'm completely honest. I think Sheik is one of the two matchups in my head where playing Fox just really kind of gives you an edge. Frame 1 does not have the SDI or pivot nerfs that Box has. These are not okay in Frame 1 custom rectangle firm. Does that mean firmware? I'm assuming. Should be banned. With that said, I'll abuse both until they do get banned. I wish I knew more about Box stuff, and I've definitely played people and their SDI is crazy. I'm like, wow, this is fucked up. But I can't really actually speak to that much, because I don't really know how it works. I don't know how you get the inputs. I don't know exactly how everything works. But the thing that worries me about Box Controller is just the fact that the people who do know a bit more about it than I do seem to act like Box is busted. So as someone who plays controller, it worries me a little bit, just because I feel like there's a chance that I'm at a disadvantage, I guess, by playing on controller, which is the same controller that I've played on since I started playing Melee. And I don't think that should be the case. I don't think that the person playing on a controller, which is what the game was like originally played on, should be at a disadvantage. Banger, you either quit Melee being a normal person or become super godlike and turn into a weirdo. Look, would you say, look, who in Melee at the top is a weirdo? There's a, honestly, look, I honestly think our top players for the most part, we've got some pretty normal people. Like, Plup is like just a quirky guy. I think like Zane is pretty normal. Like Zane's a psychopath. You know, I played him for 7 hours one stream for Zane Moky Fridays, and then he wanted to play more Melee afterwards, even though we just played for 7 hours. Like Zane can play a lot of Melee, but I think he's like a normal dude. You couldn't tell from the outside that he's a degenerate. I like to believe that I can present kind of normal, hopefully. I think there's some normal people. HBox is like pretty, like HBox is a character, but he's pretty, like HBox is a character, but I think he's like a normie character, because I would argue HBox is like the most normie of any of the top players, which in itself makes him like a pretty normal dude, even though he's HBox and he's like, you know, he like screams and passes out on stream and stuff, but he's like a normie dude. I mean, there's some weird ass motherfuckers, but I feel like Melee, there's some normal dudes. I feel like we've got some, like our very, very top is overall like, it's not as weird as we could be. No coaching potentially hinders progression on a larger scale than just game by gameplay adaptation. I don't think so. I think if coaching would be really bad for Melee. Well, I imagine it's mid-set. You can't really make this take for out of game coaching, because people are getting coaching. That's why Metafy is even a thing. But I think mid-set would be bad. Mid-set would be awful for the game, because I think a lot of the appeal is the fact that it is a 1v1 sport. You're just kind of, as soon as you're on stage, that is it, and you have to figure out how to beat this guy. If you don't know how, you got to figure it out quick. And I think that's the appealing thing. Okay, do you guys remember Aiden's video where Aiden is talking about how if we raise the price of entry to $20 instead of $10, then it would only benefit the people like HBox and Mango and whoever who are already making a lot of money, and it would only benefit them. Plus, it wouldn't actually do anything. It would be like a negligible amount of money that they get on top of what they already get. And those are the only people who would also benefit from coaching, because they're the people who would have money to be able to have a coach, or they have a team that gives them a coach. Like the random like top player who isn't sponsored, like, and is trying to make their way, would not be able to get a coach. So they would be on stage playing, and then HBox would just have Crunch come up mid-set and tell them, yeah, this guy just does this all the time. This guy does this. It'd be really fucked up if coaching was allowed mid-set, because it would just be the people who are at the top already would benefit, because they'd be able to pay for like the best coaches, or their team would just have it set up that they are the best coaches because their team wants them to win and they have the resources to do it. But obviously coaching as a whole, if you're talking about like Metafy and stuff, then yeah, like it's a good thing. I think it's good that people can learn. In order from hot to hottest, Pokemon Stadium should be permanent frozen, way more fun transformations. My take with stuff like that, like unfrozen Stadium or unfrozen Randall or whatever, is I think they create kind of fun environments for spectators sometimes. Like there's been really cool moments, like the pit fights in Stadium. There's been cool moments. There's been cool moments with Randall and like everything like that. So I think that from a spectator point of view, they can be better, but nowadays people super camp it out because it's bullshit from a competitive standpoint. So no one wants to play on that shit, and I think that's worse for viewership. And also, I think if it's gone, no one's gonna just be like, why didn't that stupid tree pop up in the middle of the stage? Like, I don't think there's like a casual spectator that's gonna be like pissed that it's not there. I know it says it's like more fun, but I think like I would argue that, like, you know, a lot of the time playing on like Poke Floats is more fun than playing on Battlefield. But it's not like a competitive thing. So I don't think we should do it because it's more fun. I was playing a lot on Unfrozen Stadium at Genesis. For some reason, Zane got a setup that was unfrozen. So we played a lot of Melee, and a lot of the time, whenever it would come up, I would just start infiniting him. And I'd start laughing because I'm like, damn, this is like really fucked up that I can do this. And it's really unfair. I don't know. I don't think we should unfreeze it. I think it can be fun, but I don't think it's a thing we should unfreeze. Falco is no lower than second on the tier list. I could see it. In my opinion, I think he's probably third. But the thing is with tier list opinions, as long as it's not like super egregious, I'm pretty okay with it. Like, I think that's the beautiful thing about Melee is people have different opinions. Like, my opinions are going to differ from Cody's, and Cody's will differ from Zane's. So if it's not like some egregious shit, I'm usually just like, yeah, like I could see it. Because I could see that. Like, I could see Falco pop. Like, Falco has laser shine. Like, he has a lot of tools to do really good stuff. If someone thinks Yoshi's the best character, I am thinking they might be smoking some form of crack cocaine, I think. If someone's even like, I think that, you know, Puff is the best character, I'm like, well, I could see a world where that happens. I don't usually get up in arms about that stuff. Like, everyone has different opinions. That's what makes Melee good. That's why, like, everyone plays the game differently. Everyone sees the game differently, and that's why we at the end of the day we love Melee, right? And then the last take: hack should be unbanned. Don't talk about this one on stream. You can't win either way. And I'm gonna do just that.